Did it work? I believe we should now be live on YouTube. Let me switch this. Alright. Hi. Welcome. I am Violet. I am also live here, not just on YouTube, but also on Reality.app, where we already met our 15 minutes. Spent a little time getting set up. As you can see, our background is a little different today. That's not just a picture of a tree, that's an actual tree. I'm sitting by our window in our little house. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support. Today we are continuing to read Small Gods, a one-off novel in the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. Some of you may have ever heard of Discworld, and maybe not. It's fine if you haven't. You don't need to know about it in order to enjoy it. That's one of the nice things about it. It's very accessible. Really am very grateful for your being here, and for your support. You do that as much as you want, darling. So where were we last time? Actually, yesterday, in yesterday's stream, we didn't do a reality stream. We just did it on YouTube. I was by myself. Wasn't feeling quite right, and I'm sorry to say, even though I'm done up, I still don't feel quite right today either. We actually, and I'm just kind of rambling right now, and then we'll get started. We stumbled across one of our old videos here on YouTube from like half a year ago. And it's a very different time, full of very different feelings. Some of those feelings we don't really want to revisit. You know what I mean? And even in this book that we're reading, there are some feelings that are not so pleasant. But, you know, I guess that's what makes a great story, right? The ups and downs, the ins and outs, the backs and forths. So let's continue where we left off, okay? Brother, the novice, the great god Om, in the form of a tortoise, here in the religious city of, was it Qom? In the religious nation of, was it Omnia? Just off the Klatchian coast. We return now to Brother, and we'll pick up right where we left off. On page 21, where Brother reaffirmed to the great god Om, who is currently, as we said, in the form of a lowly tortoise. Novice, said Brother. What? Replied the tortoise. Novice, I'm not a priest. They won't let me speak to the Cenobiarch. Get him, said the tortoise, ignoring Brother's pleas. But I don't think the Cenobiarch ever comes into our vegetable garden. I don't think he even knows what a melon is. Ah, melons, there we are again. I'm not bothered about that, said the tortoise. Fetch him now. As you can hear, my cockatiel is also enjoying the reading and contributing in their own way. Thank you. Fetch him now, said the tortoise, or there will be a shaking of the earth. The moon will be as blood. Agues, was it? And boils will afflict mankind, and diverse ills will befall. I really mean it. I'll see what I can do, said Brother, backing away. And I'm being very reasonable in the circumstances, the tortoise shouted after him. You don't sing badly, mind you, it added as an afterthought. Welcome, friends. Good to see you all. I've heard worse. As Brother's grubby robe disappeared through the gateway. Puts me in mind of that time there was the affliction of plague in Pseudopolis, it said quietly, as the footsteps faded. What a wailing and a gnashing of teeth was there, all right. It sighed. Great days, great days. And that's where we left off. Welcome, hi there. It's good to see you again, it's been a little while. We're here streaming every single day, what do you mean? Where? We literally stream every single day on Reality, and we've been streaming again every week on both Twitch and YouTube. I kid you not. It's true. In fact, we are live on both Reality and YouTube as we speak. We've been putting out content on YouTube on practically a daily basis, and we're also very active on Blue Sky, where we've been trying things out. So yeah, we stream. Actually, I'll be streaming on Twitch just later today. Well, probably Callie will be. Tomorrow we'll be streaming on my channel. We have 2 Twitch channels. Indeed. 2 Twitch channels, our 1 YouTube channel, and actually we have 2 Reality accounts. I'm glad that you're here. I'm very glad that you're here, and I appreciate the sentiment very much. We're doing a little reading right now. That's okay. Trust me, we are streaming, and we are not going anywhere. We are here for the long haul, darling. I promise you that. So we are here right now. Oh yeah, that's true. To those of you, a little digression, we do have a Discord server, but we don't really use it very much. However, we've been thinking about it more and more and more, and how we can use it. One of the big things that we want to do on Discord, and I'm glad that you mentioned it. Meow. One of the big things that we want to do on Discord are watch parties. Watch parties. Watching things, well, look, it's a private space, right? So if we watch things like, I don't know, Star Wars, if we watch things like, I don't know, Demon Slayer, what are they gonna do, huh? They're gonna sneak into our Discord and give us a takedown notice? Give me a break. That's where we can do some of those fun things that we can't do publicly. So look forward to the possibility of that, right? So let's continue here, and then I'll catch up with you in a moment, okay? Meow. Here's the thing. Many feel they are called to the priesthood, but what they really hear is an inner voice saying, it's indoor work with no heavy lifting. Do you want to be a plowman like your father? Whereas Brother, our favorite novice and potential new prophet of an entire religion, I don't know about that. He didn't just believe. He really believed. With a capital B. That sort of thing. That sort of thing is usually embarrassing when it happens in a God-fearing family. But all Brother had wanted... Excuse me. Sorry, I'm thinking about my own experience and what I wanted, because I understand Brother's feelings very much. I'm glad. That's exactly the vibe we're going for. We've been doing this. This is day 6 now, actually. Day 6 of these daily readings, and I think this is going to be a regular thing. Yeah. It's an opportunity for me to practice speaking. And it's an opportunity, I guess, for you all to practice listening, right? Anyway. Many feel that they are called to the priesthood, but what they really hear is an inner voice saying it's indoor work with no heavy lifting, right? Whereas brother, he didn't just believe. He really believed with a capital B. That sort of thing is usually embarrassing when it happens in a God-fearing family, but all brother had was his grandmother, and guess what? She believed too, with a capital B. She believed like iron believes in metal. I love that metaphor, right? I love that. Follow, huh? Well, that's a nice sentiment, isn't it? Follows are always appreciated. She, brother's grandmother, believed in the great god Om, like iron believes in metal. Might we say like a tree believes in wood, right? Or like Violet believes in you lurking here. Thank you. It's appreciated. Enjoy the vibe, and feel free to come back again tomorrow and the day after and the day after. It's always appreciated. You know, it really is nice to see you. We were just thinking about you yesterday, as a matter of fact. Callie was thinking to herself, Clover is a really good name. I kinda wanna steal it, but it's already claimed, right? Brother's grandmother believed like iron believes in metal. She was the kind of woman every priest dreads in a congregation. The one who knows all the chants, all the sermons, and all the sound on, and all the way up. In the Omnian Church, women were allowed in the temple only on sufferance. Yes, it's that kind of religion. And had to keep absolutely silent and well covered up in their own section behind the pulpit in case the sight of one half of the human race caused the male members of the congregation to hear voices not unakin to those that plagued Brother Nehumrod, remember him, through every sleeping and waking hour. Speaking of voices, do you hear that? The problem was that Brother's grandmother had the kind of personality that can project itself through a lead sheet, and a bitter piety with the strength of a diamond-bit auger. Wow. Wow. I'm gonna read that again. Can we read that again? Wow. The problem was, and it's not really a problem, it's a problem for people like Brother Nehumrod, right? Brother's grandmother had the kind of personality that can project itself through a lead sheet and a bitter piety with the strength of a diamond-bit auger. Danky is very excited. You know what it is? They're trying to read along with me. They love that I'm reading. They love this. So they get excited and they try to contribute. They say, oh, you're talking? I'm gonna talk too. They're doing their best, just like I am, just like we all are. If Brother's grandmother had instead been born a man, Omnianism would have found its 8th prophet rather earlier than expected. As it was, she organized the temple cleaning, statue polishing, and stoning of suspected adulteresses. Rotos with a terrible efficiency. So Brother grew up in the sure and certain knowledge of the great god Om. Brother grew up knowing that Om's eyes were on him all the time, especially in places like the privy, that is to say the bathroom, and that demons assailed him on all sides and were only kept at bay by the strength of his belief and the weight of grandmother's cane. which was kept behind the door on those rare occasions when it was not being used. Sounds like she led with a very firm hand. Brother could recite every verse in all 7 books of the prophets, and every single precept. He knew all the laws and the songs, especially the laws. The Omnians were a God-fearing people. They had a great deal to fear. One of the interesting things, and we'll pause now here on page 22 before moving on to this next little section, where we're going to return to the dreadful Deacon Vorbis, leader of the Omni Inquisition. The Omnian religion in the world of Discworld is very much real. The great god Om is very much real. This is no made-up religion. This is no made-up god. But as you can see, something isn't quite right with the great god Om. And that's what we're trying to figure out with the help of the potential 8th prophet, Brother. Welcome, friends. Yes. Callie does get distracted very quickly. That's very true. That being said, we've been thinking of doing some readings en español. And in such case, perhaps we could encourage Callie to do that. But we'll see. You wanna bet? Well, we're going to return now to the Deacon Vorbis. The dreadful Deacon Vorbis, leader of the Omnian Inquisition. The Omnians were a God-fearing people. They had a great deal to fear. Like the Deacon Vorbis, whose room was in the upper citadel, which was unusual for a mere deacon. He hadn't asked for it. He seldom had to ask for anything. Destiny has a way of marking her own. As an aside, well, I'll tell you in a minute. Vorbis also got visited by some of the most powerful men in the church's hierarchy. Not, of course, the six archpriests, remember this? The 6 archpriests or the Cenobiarch himself. They weren't that important. They were merely at the top. Yeah, you know, oftentimes the folks at the top don't really have a good understanding of the whole machine that they're supposed to be in charge of. There's an aside for you. The people who really run organizations are usually found several levels down, where it's still possible to get things done. Welcome. We're continuing our reading of Small Gods. We've returned to the Deacon Vorbis, leader of the Inquisition, and we're learning a bit more about his life. He has his own special room in the upper citadel, unusual for a mere deacon. He gets visited by powerful men in the church hierarchy, certainly unusual. Not, of course, as we said, the 6 archpriests or the Cenobiarch himself. The fact is, people liked to be friends with Vorbis, mainly because of the aforesaid mental field, which suggested to them in the subtlest of ways that they didn't want to be his enemy. Anyway, 2 of them were sitting down with him now, those aforementioned powerful men in the church's hierarchy. They were General Yam Friit, who, whatever the official records might suggest, was the man who ran most of the Divine Legion, and Bishop Druna, secretary to the Congress of Yams. People might not think that there was much of a... Let's say their names again, right? It was General Yam Friit, who, again, whatever the official records might say, was the man who ran most of the Divine Legion. Okay, so that's General Friit. And then Bishop Druna, secretary to the Congress of Yams. Are we gonna have to remember these names? I kinda hope not. People might not think that Bishop Druna's position was much of a position of power, but then they'd never been minutes secretary to a meeting of slightly deaf old men. Neither man was in fact there. They were not talking to Vorbis. It was one of those kinds of meeting. Lots of people didn't talk to Vorbis and went out of their way to not have meetings with him. Some of the abbots from the distant monasteries had recently been summoned to the citadel, traveling secretly for up to a week across torturous terrain, just so they definitely wouldn't join the shadowy figures visiting Vorbis's room. In the last few months, Vorbis had apparently had about as many visitors as the man in the iron mask. Yeah, this is a lot of, what's the term I want? Double speech, right? Vorbis isn't having a meeting. The Bishop Druna and the General Freet are not there. No, they're not. They're not talking with each other. No, they're not. Visitors from distant monasteries? No such thing. Absolutely not. So what does that tell us? It's all an illusion. Vorbis is up to something. What is it that he's up to, I wonder? Well, you know, I think we're gonna have to wait to find out. We have a lot of energy today. I love it. I really do. We have a lot of energy today. But I think we're gonna leave it here for today. We've been going for a little while. Take care. I'm so glad you were able to visit today. It was really nice to be able to see you again. I know LF would be very pleased to see you, as would be Callie. I'm certain of it. You have a wonderful day, my friend. Not Clover, but Savage, did you say? I like it. Savage. Lovely. Adios. Hasta la próxima. And not just to you, my friend, but to others here too, because I saw a lot of you sneak in, and some of you are just sitting there quietly in the back, which is just fine. You're welcome to. You're always welcome to. And I know a couple of you like to chat along, yes you do, and I appreciate that very much. Awadu. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for listening along. To those of you on YouTube following along, you're probably like, oh my god, how do I keep up with this, right? You don't have to. I'm doing this for myself, darling, not for you. But I am doing it for you too. So if you have feedback, such as, you sure are neurodivergent. What the hell does that mean? It's a literal comment we got on one of our videos. You sure are neurodivergent. What does that even mean? I don't know. Because, I mean, we are. Very obviously. There's a we tag ourselves as neurodivergent for a very good reason. What did you expect? I guess it means that we met your expectations, right? Perhaps we even so much as exceeded them, yes? Neither man, not General Freet, not Bishop Druna, was in fact there. They were not talking to Vorbis, no. It was one of those kinds of meeting. But if they had been there, and if they had been having a conversation, it would have gone like this, as we move now to page 24. And now, said Vorbis, the matter of Ephebe. Bishop Druna shrugged. Or would have done, of course, if he had been there. But he wasn't, so he couldn't, and he didn't. Duh. Of no consequence, they say, no threat. The two men looked at Vorbis, a man who never raised his voice. It was very hard to tell what Vorbis was thinking, often even after he had told you. Thank you so much. We'll at least get here now through another page or two. Really? Said Vorbis, or maybe he didn't, right? Is this what we've come to? No threat? After what they did to poor Brother Murdoch? The insults to Ohm? This must not pass. What is proposed to be done? No more fighting, said General Freet, or he would have, of course, right? They fight in Ephebe like madmen. No, we've lost too many already. Ephebe, you might notice, Pseudopolis, you might notice, they have a bit of a Greek feel to them, right? Well, that's for good reason. These nations are actually somewhat reminiscent of ancient Greece, much as Omnia is reminiscent of, well, I wonder, can you think of a desert nation just off the Klatchian coast? One of the wonderful and delightful and interesting things about the Discworld is that every place that we'll be visiting together is inspired by, to some extent, a place you know in the real world. And those connections make understanding and relating to, and most importantly, enjoying the Discworld all the more easy and, well, enjoyable. Anyway, no more fighting, said General Freet, or he would have, if he was there, which he's not, of course, right? They fight in Ephebe like madmen. No, we've lost too many already. They have strong gods, said Druna. They have better bows, said Freet. There is no god but Ohm, said Vorbis, resolute, though technically, in the context of the Discworld, absolutely wrong. But anyway. What the Ephebians believe they worship are nothing but jinns and demons, if it can be called worship. Have you seen this? He pushed forward a scroll of paper. What is it? Said Freet cautiously. A lie. A history that does not exist and never existed. The things. Vorbis hesitated, trying to remember a word that had long since fallen into disuse. Like the tales told to children who are too young. Words for people to say, Oh, a play, said Freet. Vorbis's gaze nailed him to the wall. You know of these things. When I traveled in Klatch, once, Freet stuttered. He visibly pulled himself together. He had commanded 100,000 men in battle. He didn't deserve this. He found he didn't dare look at Vorbis's expression. They dance dances, he said limply. On their holy days, he continued as we move now to page 25. The women have bells on their, and sing songs. All about the early days of the worlds when the gods... He faded. It was disgusting, he said. He clicked his knuckles, a habit of his whenever he was worried. This play, continued Vorbis, has their gods in it. Men in masks. Can you believe that? They have a god of wine, a drunken old man, and people say Ephebe is no threat. And this... He tossed another, thicker scroll onto the table. This is far worse, for while they worship false gods in error, their error is in their choice of gods, not in their worship. But this... Druna gave it a cautious examination. I believe there are other copies. What are we looking at, I wonder, huh? What are we looking at, I wonder? This is getting pretty interesting, huh? The Omnian nation looking like it wants to go to war with neighboring Ephebes. Is it Ephebes or Ephebe? Just Ephebe. Ephebe, where the Ephebians live, or perhaps the Ephebians are referred to as the Ephebes. Ephebe, 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 Ephebe. Oh my goodness. Wasn't that nice of Savage Nay Clover to join us? It was good to see them again, and we really were just thinking about them. That's no joke. You know, we think about all of you all the time. Some of you who haven't been with us in weeks, months, even longer. And we wonder, how are you doing? Will we ever have the chance to see you again? We were just practicing Celeste, actually. Celeste, that's right. That wonderful mountain climbing game. And remembered streaming it. Remembered a certain friend or friends who had been there with us, who no longer really join us. Will we ever see them again? I wonder. Maybe. Do they still think about us? I wonder. Maybe. I don't know. But I can tell you, darling, trust me, we think about you. And no matter what you might tell yourself, darling, and you can clip this, right? You actually can. You can clip this on YouTube and share it on social media. I encourage you to, right? I'm thinking about you. And no matter what you might tell yourself, I want you to be happy. Always. So clip that, right? Yeah, Celeste. Alright, so what are we looking at here? I wonder. Well, you know what? I'm actually really excited about this part. I think this is really exciting, this part. A secret meeting with a deacon in charge of an entire religion's quisition. And not just the deacon, but a bishop and a general? This is very exciting. It sounds like we might be going to war. Very scary, but very exciting. So you know what? Let's leave it right here, just at the top of page 25, where we can think about those women who have bells on their, Where might those bells be on those women, I wonder? So we'll leave it here for now, right? Alright, hold on just a sec. I'm gonna stand up. That's right, I can stand up. Okay. Let's shift up here. I told you. We're here in our little room. Isn't this cool? I'm just sitting in this little chair here. Just beside me here, you can see the, shall we say, Empress's chair. That is where Katana Blaze Hexself sits. Katana likes to believe that Hex are the one in charge. And I'm fine with letting Hex believe that. Because I just want to have a peaceful and happy day. And I can't hope for anything more than that. You know? So, I hope that you have a peaceful and happy day. I want to. Which, of course, is cockatiel for I love you. And I mean what I said. Celeste? Oh, it's a wonderful game, isn't it? I think about you all the time, darling. You think I don't? Of course I remember you. The time we shared in our streams. I miss it. I wish you'd come back. I really do. But you might not. And that's okay. I hope that you look back on our time together fondly. And, well, even if for some reason you don't, because, well, remember Callie? She doesn't always host the greatest experience, and even I can get pretty grumpy. Even if you look back on our time together and think that could have been so much better, well, hey, guess what? There's a lesson for you. And maybe we both learned something from it together. How's that for a silver lining, huh? So many thanks to everyone for joining us today. Today is Wednesday. We will be streaming in just a little while on the aforementioned Callie's channel on Twitch. It's true. Of course, if you should miss it, we do share the streams here on YouTube also. Thanks, of course, every day to Lo-Fi Girl for this lovely soundtrack, which is keeping us all very centered. Very lovely. Thank you so much. So, I'll see you, I hope, again very soon. And let's pick up where we left off with this very secret meeting. And maybe we'll think a little bit about Brother's grandmother and her strong belief. And the belief that he now carries, that he inherited from her. Belief is a powerful, powerful thing. We believe in you, darling. Do you believe in us? And that is, of course, with a capital B. I love it. I love it, I love it!